Hi, this is Enthusiastic Steve. This is just a very quick video. I often see on the internet a question posed by radio users. Can I hear the ISS, the International Space Station, on my cheap Chinese radio, just using the rubber duck antenna? And there's a lot of skeptics out there, but unless you try it, you don't know. Well, this evening I was actually outside in a bit windy conditions, as you'll hear on the recording, just holding my phone next to a Chinese radio whilst out there, say, as I was walking. And as I did so, the International Space Station came overhead and it was broadcasting down a voice transmissions on 2 meter band to an organised an event, somebody they've arranged to actually speak down to. I couldn't hear the uplink, of course, but the space station was very clear. Have a listen.
Or for ISS. IK1 SLD, IK1 SLD, or for ISS. I am ready for questions, over. I give the same advice to young women and young men. Study hard in school and be near the top of whatever you do, over. I studied chemical engineering at university, got my PhD in chemical engineering, and I was always working on side projects dealing with science and engineering, over. I do not think that the absence of local gravity affects our perception of space and time. Perhaps the orbit with 16 day-night cycles might affect, but I do not notice any change in perception of space and time, over. Eating in space, you have to be careful not to lose your food in terms of it floating off. You want to avoid food that makes a lot of crumbs. I like to eat with chopsticks. Chopsticks are really good to eat your food in space, over. We have freeze-dried food and thermal stabilized food. It's a lot like camping food, and we rehydrate it with warm water, or we put it in a food warmer. We do not raise food on space station. We do not have the capability to raise enough calories for keeping a crew fed at this point in time, over. I never get bored on ISS. There's so much to do even in your off-duty time. Doing imagery out the windows is one of my favorite pastimes, over. I think the most challenging mental challenge is following a timeline where every day, every 5-minute space in your day is pre-planned and you have to stick to the plan, over. Station has many scientific goals, both in physical science, chemistry, and in biological sciences. I think the most significant are going to be the human research programs that we have that look at human physiology and microgravity, and this can be applied to everyone on planet Earth that doesn't have the experience of going into space, over. I can measure the levels of cosmic radiation that we have on station and document that aspect, but actually making the tools and the radiation shielding I do not work on, over. There are currently planned several different varieties of space stations. These are commercial space stations from free enterprise companies, and each one will probably have a different focus. One may be for biological research. The others I am not certain, over. The hardest thing to do in microgravity is working with something that has a lot of little tiny parts, like little screws, little nuts and bolts. They tend to float off in weightlessness, over. Something the size of a refrigerator can be done with just a couple of fingers, over. We
Well, hopefully that's answered that question. Can you hear the ISS on a Chinese handheld radio? Yes, you can, just using the rubber duck antenna. Absolutely brilliant. So, this has been Enthusiastic Steve. Thank you for watching. And if you want to look at some of my other videos, go to the Enthusiastic Steve channel and see other videos on amateur radio, CB, mast, anything to do with the radio, scanners, etc., airbands. It's all out there. If you like it, please subscribe. Please click the old like. Send us a comment. This has been Enthusiastic Steve. 73s for now. Catch you all again soon.